Hey, welcome to the Boardroom, Subtrendy's tabletop gaming show. I'm Thomas, and I'm here today with Philly and... I almost called you Dylan. I mean, your name is Dylan, but Philly and Emily. So, today we are doing our tutorial of Sheriff of Nottingham. This game we got last year from our friends Laurel and Alex. So, thanks, Laurel and Alex. Yeah, it was a wedding present, yeah. And they're pretty big gamers too, so we always enjoy playing with them. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started here. Sheriff of Nottingham is a good game for liars. We like those kind of games.
Yeah.
I like to lie.
I'm not good at them.
I'm not that great either, but they're a lot of fun. So we've already got the game set up here. Basically, we have our deck here in the middle. There's 2 discard piles here. There's 5 cards in each of them right now. Now, players at any time can look at the contents of these discard piles. Additionally, we each have our hands of 6 cards each. Now, each of these cards will either be green for legal goods or red for contraband. You can also see here, I'll throw up a legal card here and a contraband card each. The gold number at the top on the coin is the value of that card. That's how much when at the end of the game you cash in that card, that's how many points you get for it. The red number on the bottom right is the penalty cost of that card. And that's something that we'll go into a little bit later, but that's not fun if you have to pay the penalty cost, as I'm sure you can imagine. Now the game is divided up into various stages, and we'll kind of walk through one round here of stages. So, right now, as you can see, I've got this Chris Christie looking guy right here as the Sheriff of Nottingham.
I was not expecting that.
He's, deep cut. That means that I am the judge of this round. So the rest of these guys will be trying to sneak good into the city past Chris Christie. So the first stage is the market stage. These 2 smugglers here are going to take 1 or up to 5 of the cards that they have in their hands. They have 6, they can take up to 5 and set them aside. So starting with Philly, he's going to set any number up to 5 cards aside. Once he's done that, he can then draw cards from this middle deck here. He won't know what he's getting. Or he can draw cards from either of these discard piles. Now, if he decides to do that, he'll have to take the card on the top of the pile first in order. He could also take a combination, so he could take 2 from this card, discard 1 from here, 1 from here, if he's drawing 4.
Feeling adventurous.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, he's feeling adventurous. Let's see what he does. Okay. How many are you setting aside here, Philly?
Set aside those 2.
2? Okay.
And then do I?
You'll keep your hand.
Yeah.
I'll keep it for now.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you draw 2 cards from any of those 3 piles. And remember, you can look at the contents of any of the discard piles whenever you want. All right. So
Wait,
Philly's...
are those ones you put away? You set aside?
Yeah, I was setting those aside.
Oh,
Okay,
there
the
you
ones
go.
you set aside,
Yeah.
now you can put onto the discard piles.
Put on these.
That's
So,
your
okay,
hand.
what did you just draw?
These 2.
Okay, so keep those go into your hand.
Okay.
The ones you
Yeah.
set aside go
Oh.
into the discard pile.
Okay,
Yep,
I'm gonna switch.
that's right, it's Philly's first time.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Then I'll throw these right there.
No.
They have to go in a discard pile.
Face
That's
up and you never have those.
Yep,
There we go.
all right, good job.
You got it.
You got it.
Okay.
Philly's learning too for our playthrough.
I'm not a smart man.
That's all right.
Yes, you are. My marker phase?
Yes,
No?
now it's your market phase.
Okay. I'm going to set aside 4 cards.
Okay.
I'm going to draw 3 from here and 1 from here.
All right, now that everyone has their cards, we go into the load merchant bag phase. So we've got these little bags here. The merchants, I guess you guys are going to go ahead and put 1 to 5 cards in their bag. They can put anywhere between 1 and 5. So they can't put 0, they can't put 6. They shouldn't even be able to put 7 because you shouldn't have that many cards. If you do, that's a problem.
We're smugglers. What do you expect?
All right, so that's a pretty fast phase, I guess. Sometimes we wouldn't play, people just do it right after the market phase. Now we're in the declaration phase where our merchants are going to declare their goods. So hopefully you remember what you put in there. Now,
Sometimes you do forget.
sometimes you do have to look. So we are playing a 3-player game right now, so we've had to take out some of the 4-player plus cards. So there's no bread, for instance, in this version of our game. So right now the 3 legal goods that we have available are apples, cheese, and chicken. Now, when you declare your goods, you have to declare one of those 3 legal goods. You could also say bread if that is a legal card during the game. Regardless of what's actually in your bag. So you could have, for instance, 1 bread or 1 apple and 3 crossbows. Crossbows being contraband. And still say 4 apples. Now, the other note here is you have to give the exact right number of cards in your bag still. So you can't put in, 5 apples and say 2 apples. That doesn't work. You have to say the number of cards that you have. And finally, they do have to be a legal good. So you cannot declare contraband as the good that you're bringing in. Because I'm the sheriff of Nottingham. The governor of New Jersey does not want you to bring in crossbows across his borders. So, all right. So, Philly, it is your declaration. What are you going to go for here?
4 apples, Governor.
4 apples. Okay. And Emily?
Oh, you do him first. Right?
No, we're in the declaration phase,
Oh.
so you go.
4 cheese.
4 apples right here, 4 cheese right there.
Are we allowed to
All right.
bribe?
Well, I'm going in the
Oh,
inspection phase now. So
Getting ahead
now
of
I'm in the. You are. Now I'm going in the inspection phase. So I am looking at this, and you said what? 4 apples?
Yeah.
4 apples? Are you
Yeah.
sure about that?
I'm pretty sure.
Do you want to fork over some coin here? Now, one option Philly has if he doesn't want me to open this is he can offer bribes. Bribes can be some of the gold that we have here. They can be already cashed in goods from previous rounds. Those are binding. If you offer them as a bribe, you have to pay them. Other bribes, for instance, say that Philly said he had 4 apples in here. If he really does have 4 apples in here, and he offers me 2 of those apples, for instance, I get 2 of those apples. If, however, he has 4 cheese in here, he doesn't owe me anything, because he didn't have any apples. And finally, you can offer future favors as a bribe. So, for instance, Philly could tell me that he's not going to check my bag next time he's the sheriff. That is also not binding, because it's not happening during this round. It's not necessarily a bad deal to make, because if you break a lot of those, then no one's really going to take you seriously. But that is an option. So once the button comes off of here, I've gone ahead and sealed the deal. And that means that this bag is being inspected. Philly, any last words?
Do what you gotta do, man. Do
All
what
right.
you gotta do.
The bag is open. Now some of our bags, I'll talk about this in my review, kind of fell apart pretty easily. But it looks like Philly has 4 apples here. So I'm going to throw the card up here again. As you can see, that little red pesky little 2 there means that I have to pay him 2 for each of these 4 apples. That is 8
Fork it over,
8
buddy.
gold that I owe Philly here. So there you go, sir.
Thank
You got the best of me. I'm sure the king is going to be upset with me for disturbing the peace there.
I'm just an honest man. Honest man trying to make a living.
All right, Emily, what do you got?
4 cheese.
4 cheese?
Yeah.
That's what you said? All right, let me see. Ooh.
Oh my.
Now, Emily has offered me 5 gold here, a piece of silver, whatever this is,
Cash money.
to not open this. Now, I cannot accept this unless I let her through. I don't think it's worth it. I think she's up to something. Are you going to offer me any more?
No.
No? Well, then I'm going to open up this bag. Let's see what we got in here. I think this is one of our
Good luck.
bags that, yeah, here we go.
If you-
Ooh, now what did you say you had?
4 cheese.
4 cheese. How about all contraband, 3 pepper, and mead? So now, I'm going to throw these up here. Emily the pepper owes me 4 gold apiece. That's 12. The mead is also 4. That is 16 gold that she owes me. And I'm going to go ahead and drop these in any order that I want on the discard piles. I like to bury stuff under contraband to see who draws it. All right, thank you. Nice doing business with you. All right. Now, if she had any illegal goods that she had declared, because, what do you say, cheese?
Cheese.
If she had any cheese, she would have been able to go ahead and score that.
Keep the cheese.
And put it on her merchant card. Philly Diesel will go underneath your merchant card and her apples. Yep.
There we go.
All right. Now, at the end of the round, everybody draws back up to 6. The sheriff probably doesn't need to because he'll already have 6 from the previous round that he played. So you'll draw them from the top here. And, so the gameplay goes for generally 2 full rounds where each person will be the sheriff twice. In a 3-player game like this, everyone is the sheriff 3 times. We go around the board 3 times there. At the end of the game, scoring is done as such. So everyone counts the amount of gold that they have. Then they count the value of cards that they've scored. That's including contraband and legal goods. And finally, you've got on the player cards here these golden and silver numbers next to apples, cheese, and chicken, and then bread in a 4-player game. Those are the king and queen of each of those items. So whoever has the most apples will score, for instance, 20 gold. The person with second most apples will score 10. And similar for all of the other resources. Now, if there's a tie for king, that's the gold one. Say that Philly and I both had 4 apples, Emily had 2. Philly and I would split the combined total there of the 20 and the 10, so we would each get 15, and there would be no second place. If there is a tie for queen, which is the second, say that I scored 5 apples, Emily and Philly both scored 2, I would get the 20 points, Emily and Philly would get 5 apiece. And if, for instance, you cannot evenly divide, you round down for those points.
Cool.
So you'll add those points to your gold and your scored goods, and whoever has the most wins. And that is Sheriff of Nottingham. Stay tuned for next couple of weeks for our playthrough of Sheriff of Nottingham. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're just about getting ready to play, so we're pretty excited.
Yeah.
We got Subtrendy coming out this week. We got Set It and What's Up With alternating every week. We have a lot of fun with those. Check out our streaming. We're going to try to do streaming every Saturday. It's a lot of fun. We just kind of started, and we're playing a couple different games right now. So it'll be good.
Find us on Twitch.
Absolutely. All right. Well, have a good week. We will see you next week.